Coach Hargett, I got you on the phone and on video also here. And I'm Rick with Surface to Air System, the co-founder. And basically, Coach, this introduction video is going to introduce the coaching world to what we're going to do through a partnership with Patreon. And through that, guys are going to be able to get behind the curtain access to building a football program from post to pillar, from soup to nuts, from A to Z. And they're going to be able to pull the curtain back and watch you. Almost, you said it like a reality show almost, of what it takes to build a program, the highs and the lows, the tough parts, the low parts, the crappy parts, and the great parts. Give your vision of what a Patreon member, and below here, when we make the final edits here, you will be able to see everybody how you can log on to Patreon, become a S2A Patreon partner, and get behind the curtain of watching Coach Hargett go to work to build a program. Go ahead, Coach.
Well, I think that talking about offense, defense, special teams, all those sorts of things are very important, and we'll certainly do those things. But there's so much more for those of you that are head football coaches or aspiring head football coaches. There's so much more to it than that. I always like to tell people that being a head high school football coach is really like owning and managing a small business. And so, as Rick said, we want to pull the curtain back. We want to show you sort of how I run a football program and some of the challenges and the pitfalls and the successes and whatnot that goes into that. The program that I run here in Emmett, Idaho, we're a rural suburban town just outside Boise, Idaho. We face problems that real world schools face. I have to fundraise all but a very small percentage of what my program runs on. I have to do some scheduling things. I have to run the weight room every day. I have to meet with the booster club. I have to meet with the community. I actually just came from a 3-hour community meeting today about some things we need to discuss. So there's a whole pantheon of things that go into building a football program and then maintaining a football program. And we feel like this Patreon account is really going to give people an opportunity to look at all those nuts and bolts and really come to understand what the program looks like and how you build it and what needs to go into it. So, we're going to cover as diverse a group of things as, when should you be playing 7-on-7s, or when should you have a scrimmage, or what are some fundraising ideas? What are some tips in running the weight room? And these are by all means not the be-all, end-all. There's many different ways to be successful. We're not saying that we're the only ones, but we would like to be kind of a test case for people to look at, to be able to dialogue with, and provide you ideas on how to run your program. From coast to coast, there's a lot of programs that have to build it day by day from the ground up. We're not going to have 15 Division I scholarship level players. We don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank. Everything we do, we have to work for, we have to grind for. And I think the vast majority of you that are watching this probably fit that category. And I think there's schools in all 50 states that fit that category. And a lot of those people come to us and they join Surface to Air because they want service, they want help installing their offense and their defense. They want help troubleshooting things and asking questions. And the Patreon account that we're creating now is really to start taking it a step further into program development and program building. And that's a somewhat overlooked aspect in the modern day world of coaching football. And it's something that hopefully this will bridge that gap and provide people with a little bit more content knowledge in that
area. Yeah. Now, again, you can see right here on the screen, everybody, how you can become a partner with Coach Hargett and Surface to Air System. Just to be clear, this is not our Surface to Air System offense offering, although we will talk about offense. But we'll also be talking about special teams, defense, staff organization, practice, everything that it takes from soup to nuts to run a program for a very small partnership fee, getting ideas, and then have an interaction with Rich and other members of what the things that they're going through. One of my whys, Rich, I don't know if I ever even told you this, I come from a football family. I was raised as a football coach's son and then became a football coach. And my 2-year-old grandson, I want him to play football. And that would be in about 14 years, when he gets into high school. And I want good coaches coaching him. And if he wants to play. And so I want this game around for another 14 years plus, and I know you do for your sons. And that's one of the big things at Emmett for you is you want to coach your sons who right now are in grade school. So they've still got 5, 6, 7, 8 years to get there. So we're talking about building a program for the 2019 season, but also the 2029 season.
Yeah.
And I saw a Division I coach is doing a podcast on how he's built his program in theories and in philosophical thoughts, but they can probably invest $1 billion to get that done. And then there's other great coaches that have won 5, 6 state championships that are in $60 million stadiums. But you're middle of the road America, man, and that's where most coaches live. So I think this is going to be a great pullback of a curtain of what you're doing. Any final thoughts so that people know what they're getting if they become an S2A patron?
Yeah, there's going to be content offered on here for certain. There's going to be plays and, schematic adjustments and things like that. We're going to certainly offer those things. But one of the big focal points of this is going to be what I like to tell people is all the non-sexy, non-glamorous things that go into really running a program. The vast majority of my days are not spent this time of year working on football. I work 4 days a week all summer long. It's mostly not drawing up X's and O's. Now, certainly I do a lot of that, but most of my time is spent behind the scenes, the dirty work, whatever you want to call it. I actually enjoy it. I love all the aspects of the politics and the networking and all those things that go into it. And that's really where we feel like no one's really provided consulting work on that. And so that's what we kind of hope this Patreon account is it's an opportunity to help you really build your program from the ground up, whether you're just starting out or whether you've been doing it for 20 years. We hope this provides some relevant information there.
Yeah, and again, just to be clear for everybody, we're not talking about a state championship program. Rich didn't go 10-0 and run it up and light the world on fire. He started. I know you use. I don't want to steal your thunder, but you've got a axiom about building it, and really you laid the first one during the first year, and so we're talking about getting to that championship level, building to that championship level, and the day-to-day aspects of how you do it 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And so again, right here, you're going to be able to, how do I partner with S2A to pull back the curtain and get access that nobody else gets through our Patreon partnership. Last word, Coach, and we'll finish this introductory video.
Yeah, I like to use the term that we are a foundational rebuild in Emmett, Idaho. In other words, if you think about you're building a house, it has to be built on a strong foundation. Well, we're just trying to even get the foundation built at this point. And it's a labor of love. I mean, you really have to enjoy this line of work and committing your time to it, or else you won't last very long. And so what this is it's an attempt to help you in that process. And if you're a foundational rebuild guy like I am, helping you put those bricks and that mortar together. And so hopefully this will help a lot of coaches out and provide a quality service.